Okay, what's up, everybody? I'm back in the woods doing my nature walk. Um, it's a great day. It's a beautiful day. Um, Today is my wife's birthday, and it was just awesome. We all woke up and had a nice breakfast, and spontaneously all ended up in the pool, which never happens. Then we, got dressed and cleaned up and ready and went out to a really nice restaurant on the water. There's a lot to be grateful for. Um, Even without those things, there's a lot to be grateful for. I I'm on day 1012, which is a miracle. It's amazing, or I highly suggest you trying it. But I realized because of a friend I was talking to and some other people I listened to, um, something that I left out of, and that's going to happen. I'm just going to, you know, as I'm getting new to this YouTube thing, I'm realizing that I forget things and it occurs to me much later. Oh, I should have said that. And oh, that would have been awesome if I said this. And I left out that, and so on and so on. I had a college professor who called that staircase wisdom. Um, Yeah, he called it staircase wisdom because it's something that occurs to you, like as you're walking down the stairs after an argument or something. You'd be like, "Oh, yeah," and that's what I should have said. But yeah, so if you ever have that feeling, that always stuck with me. So that's what I call it, staircase wisdom, which is amazing. I'm so grateful to all you guys, and I have like the first video has like 1,600 views. I can't believe it happened so fast like that. My son laughs at me because he's got like 356,000 views because he makes these like 40-second shorts on how to play some VR game or something. So he's like a VR big deal. I don't know. So he laughs at me because my numbers are so low, but to me they're staggering for 14 days on YouTube. And but I'm just doing this by the seat of my pants. I've made 4 videos and used 3 different cameras, and I bought a microphone and I'm trying that today. But I tried it last time and I got no audio from it. So I'm really I don't know what I'm doing. So anyway, back to the topic at hand, sobriety. Um, Stewardship. Stewardship is, well, when I was a kid, a stewardess was someone who helped you on an airplane, someone who got you your drinks. Now they're called flight attendants. Everyone changes names for whatever reason. I guess you can, if you don't already know the word, it's serving others, which is totally and utterly counterintuitive when you're from 0 to 25, I'd say. You're like, what are you kidding me? I have nothing and you want me to help others? I don't even know, I can't even change a flat, or, I don't even know how credit cards work. You know, I used to think credit cards gave, I used to think credit cards gave me whatever the limit was. I thought that was what they gave me per month. And it would just magically take care of itself. Like I had no concept of the idea of debt or having to take care of things myself. So that's an aside. But yeah, so the concept of stewardship usually enters a person's vernacular in their 30s and 40s, or the occasional person that's wise beyond their years or had some tragedy befall them. that learn stewardship and gratitude. I've heard it said that there are no happy people who are ungrateful. So it was put more eloquently than that, but that's the tune of it. You can't be it's impossible to be happy if you're not grateful. In my last video, I was really focused on myself. And it took some people who had more years of sobriety than me to realize. And I'm grateful to them. Because I was, I was kind of proud of some of my ideas that flew off the cuff and everything. And some of the things I said, and embarrassed by others, but you got it as I said it. I didn't edit it because I don't know how. I'm going to learn. So as I promised, sleeker videos in the future. But what I didn't address was service to others. And that's really the key, the final step of healing and recovery in with addicts. And that's when you start hearing people saying they're a grateful addict, they're a grateful alcoholic, because they otherwise wouldn't have come upon this wisdom that without stewardship, without helping others, there is no transcendence to the next level. Not only does it feel good, and you might say like, oh, well, that's selfish right there. If it feels good to you, then that's selfish. That's, first of all, that's very cynical. I don't think it's particularly profound, but that's not the only reason you're doing it. Hopefully. When you help others and it feels good, that's a byproduct. You're not doing it because it feels good. It happens to feel good because you're a decent human being. Helping others. How do I help others? That's tricky. There are people that I could help that, might, infringe on my private life. That's hard. It's a hard call. You want to help people, but you might not want to invite them into your home, or you might want to help people and you might not want to accidentally enable them. And you got to be sure your motives are pure. I'll tell you a story, real quick one. 4 days ago, I went and brought my son to get ice cream, and I waited in the car because there was a long line. It was like an outdoor line, and I told him to wait on the line. When it got closer, I'd come and purchase the ice cream for him. And what I didn't know was that there was an old lady in her, I'd say, late 60s. It's not super old, but just a lady older than me, who was observing this because she was parked next to me with the window rolled down. And he said, "Hey, Dad, come on. I was like, all right, I'm coming. And because he was next. But I was, being a grown up and in my own cell phone la la land. But I was kind of tuned into what was going on. So then I hopped out and he got his ice cream. I paid for it. And I didn't realize it, but I had my arm around him. I kissed him on the head and got his ice cream, and, nothing unusual there. Because I love my son, more than anything in the world. So as we're walking back with the ice cream, the lady singles me out, and My son goes back into the car, and the lady sparks up a conversation with me. And I didn't notice, but she is weeping. She's she's visibly crying. And I was like, yes. And she's like, can I just tell you, I was just nervous you were going to ignore your son when he was trying to get your attention. And I was just really touched by your attentiveness. And I was like, oh, wow. It was very touching. And then without me really saying anything, she just kept on, she added, because my father was a son of a bitch. He was a real bastard. He would wait till we were in the shower and beat my mom. And she went on and told this horrible story about a terrible man. And a man that had something that he didn't deserve. And that breaks my heart because I know people who would give anything for what that man had, but he took it for granted. And that's a huge breach in gratitude and stewardship and all that stuff that I'm talking about today. So she was just really touched. And we started talking and I found out where she was from. And she had music on, choral music in her car. And we started talking and she happened to be a choral singer for an ensemble that I'm familiar with. And we just had a lovely conversation. Her tears dried up and she just felt like reinvigorated. And I was happy to be part of that process to help her, restore a little, faith in humanity. Some people get so little of it that it just takes something little like that. I was unwittingly part of, all I did was buy my son some ice cream and put my arm around him and, stuff I do all the time, every day. Doesn't, so, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here. I just, it's just entry level dad stuff to me. So, I feel like my wife and I are watching Mad Men right now. And just the human beings back then, we've come so far, and we need to appreciate how far we've come, how introspective we are, how caring, and obviously not everybody, of course, but as a whole, people, we scrutinize much finer things about each other in life now, where back then we used very macro terms about people, like just he's angry, or he's the nice guy, or we're just very vague terms. And now we have all sorts of sophisticated, funny terms that come from memes, and like my son was calling somebody a LARP, whatever the heck that is. Like, but it connects to like a specific pattern of behavior. Whereas like back in, just a few decades ago, people were just very blanket terms. So, like we didn't know what gaslighting was, or, trying to think, you know, just very, very specific behaviors. That's great. It's great that we recognize those things now. So, so she comes from a generation that doesn't have that. So I just tried to leave her with a little positivity and say, hey, most of the dads I know in my life, in my circle, are like this, are doing the right thing. They're, hopefully times are better now. I told her, I'm sorry you had a crummy dad. you deserved a great dad, you know. So I'm sorry that that happened to you. I wish you had a great dad. In fact, I think that's a common occurrence with unhappy people is, you know, had a hardworking mother and just an absentee father. You know, that's usually a calling card for all the people in prison and all that stuff. So, dads, if you're out there, do your job. You know, get it done. Love your children. Take care of your wife. Don't bail. So, little tangent. Sorry, but oh wow, this whole pond is like empty. It's usually filled with snapping turtles, but I guess we haven't gotten much rain. Anyway, all right. Well, to wrap it up, coming back around to stewardship, um, if you are already, um, you know, thinking of others, you know, that's a great start. Um, I don't think people all just automatically deserve kindness and respect, but start there at least. What's going on with them that they're like that? You know, we've all played video games. We know that the angry monster or the angry boss at the end of the dungeon had like something you know, was had a thumbtack in its paw or something that we didn't realize until after the battle. Yeah, let's try and give people not just one or two chances, but before we walk away, let's try and give them our best, and maybe we could soothe that beast through stewardship and caring. And it's not your job to find out why, but maybe you could, maybe we could try a little harder and go a little further to help that person in need. People open up. People will open up if you just, I mean, instead just skip the weather comments. Just skip that. Like, let's have some more meaningful conversations. That's what I'm doing this for, is because you know, I figured it'll like invite some lively conversations in my life. Let's have some banter. Let's go back and forth. Disagree or just think I'm a thumfering idiot. Let's go at it, man. Come on. What are you gonna do? So anyway, take care of each other, and yeah, that's all I got. Stewardship. Love thy neighbor. Okay, love you guys. Take care.